I'm going to show you how to create an image based on these pieces by Kelly Maker. The first thing you are going to need to do in Photoshop, you can go to File, New, and then select A4. If you cannot see it here, go to Print, and then you should be able to see an A4 option there. Again, depending on your image, you may want to change the orientation to landscape. That's entirely up to you. I'm going to keep it portrait for the time being. And create. Now, ideally you should have your images already organised so you know what ones you want to use. You can see I have image 1 and image 2 here. I've also got a few backgrounds. Pinterest is great for looking at backgrounds. You can really just type in what you want, whether it is kind of glitter, if it's book paper, newspaper, etc. You are able to see that. So I am going to go to my blank document. The first thing I'm going to do is drag in the image that I want to use into my document. I can resize it if I wish. Now, obviously this image isn't the best quality, but it will do for these purposes. And then as soon as I'm happy with how I have repositioned it and resized it, hit enter. Or if you happen to resize, you can see that at this top bar here, you can select kind of cancel actions, or you can complete actions, and then you're able to move on to the next thing. So as you can see here, the layer is actually a smart layer, which we don't want. We can't make any changes to a smart layer. So what we need to do is copy it and paste it, and it will come as a blank layer. So we'll do select all, or Command A, we'll do edit copy, Command C, and then we'll just do edit paste, Command V. And then you will see that I have the exact same layer, however now it's not a smart layer, which means I can edit this. I have turned the visibility off on this one here, so I can't see it now. The area that I am looking to remove is going to be the inside of these glasses. You may wish to do the entire glasses as well as the background. That's entirely up to you. Few ways in which you can do it, and again for every image it'll be the same technique that you can use, whether it be the lasso tool. So you can use the lasso tool or perhaps the magnetic lasso tool. Now this really works well if there's a high contrast in between the object that you want to cut out and then say your model, for example. So if I start here, again the software format is deciding where the boundary is, and you're just going to drag your mouse. Now the problem with this comes if it spots or determines that there's a kind of dark shadow or perhaps the contrast isn't quite as great, then it will not go to that shape, if that makes sense. So it can start to look a little bit rough around the edges. As you can see here, it might start to even pick out some of my model's eyelashes. But again, this works well if you have high contrast between your item and your model. So once I have that selected, I am going to cut that out. So I would just go to edit and then cut, and it cuts that out. Now obviously you can see here, if I zoom in, so I can just do Command and plus, if I zoom in I can see my edges aren't quite as neat. What I can then do is go to the eraser tool, so it's on the left hand side about halfway down, and again mine's is quite big here, so I want to resize that. And then I am basically rubbing out, and I'm kind of trying to smooth out this shape as much as possible. Again, obviously you can spend a lot more time on this than I am. Again, you get the idea, and you can tidy up any areas that you don't like. So that is one way in which you can do it. So the magnetic lasso, if I do Command Z, that's undoing, so I can go back a maximum of 20 steps. So the magnetic lasso is one tool that you can use. Another one would be the magic wand tool. Now it is the fourth one down, fourth one down, I had to check that there, and it is the magic wand. If you have contiguous ticked, then what will happen is if I select here, it's going to select absolutely everything that is that kind of tone, which is not what we want. If I was to select this colour here, then again it works out. So if I have high contrast areas, this works really well, but obviously my model's here is dark, the sunglasses are dark, then it picks up absolutely everything within that. However, if you do have high contrast, sometimes that can work. Over and above that, you can just go to the eraser tool on its own, and you can go around and rub that out. For me, I feel the easiest is probably the magnetic lasso, but again, it is all about trial and error. See what works, see what doesn't again. So just show you again, magnetic lasso. I'm going to go around my model's glasses. Again, obviously you can spend a lot more time on this than what I am. And again, it's fab if you have a kind of high contrast image or a big colour difference. So for example, if my model's hair was blonde in this picture, I would be able to see a big difference here. I might have to use a kind of eraser tool for this part here. If I was trying to cut out this leg of the sunglasses, it might be really quite tricky, but because I'm only doing the front of the sunglasses, it's fine for now. So again, I've selected magnetic lasso, I can Command X to cut it out. Say I've went back in, I've tidied it up and I'm happy with it. Now what I am then going to need to do is take my background. So I'm going to click and drag my background in and drop it. Again, I'm going to position it to where I want, hit enter, and then obviously I can then drag my layer underneath and you can see it. So the good thing is you can decide on what you would like where. It might even be that you make it a little bit smaller. You can position where or what in the image you want, and you can have something like that. Again, entirely up to you if you then want to start cutting out the background of your model. It could start to look something like this, where I've got just my model left in the image, my objects, whether it's sunglasses, if it's the lips that you want to cut out, if it's a hat or accessories that you have on, and the background. So you can have it either way, where it's just one object that you've got highlighted. Perhaps it's the object in the background. It might even be that instead of the sunglasses, removing the model's clothes entirely. You can make that decision. But again, it's going to be the exact same process no matter what item you are cutting out and popping behind your model. So magnetic lasso, you can use the magic wand tool, or you can just use the eraser on its own.